What's going on, all you sports and gambling fans out there? Today we have some NHL betting coverage for you. And joining me here, we have Dave Golikov, our SBR contributor. The game we're looking at is the Winnipeg Jets going up against the Minnesota Wild. Let's start it off with the Jets, which trail Minnesota by 4 points with 4 games remaining. Yet they will still be without one of their biggest impact players, Dustin Byfuglien, as he will be serving or is serving his second game of a 4-game suspension. Now, they might also be hurt if Tobias Enstrom doesn't play due to an upper body injury. Anyways, with all that in mind, do you think that what will we see from the Jets in this spot, Dave?
Well, the Jets have to be desperate. This is a team that comes into the night tied with the Los Angeles Kings for the 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference. This team made a lot of moves at the trade deadline. I think jobs may be on the line here in terms of the front office. They need to get in. They need to find a way to get in. The good news for them is they're kind of catching Minnesota possibly at a time where they're slumping. Minnesota has been fantastic over the last 3 months of the season, ever since they acquired Devan Dubnyk, but they come into this meeting having lost 2 straight games. The Wild haven't lost 2 consecutive games since January 20th, so that goes to show you how good they've been over the last 2 to 3 months. So is it an opening? Is that? I think that's really what we want to see tonight. Is that the Wild have basically started Devan Dubnyk every single game since they acquired him. So is he fatigued? Is this a sort of a changing of the momentum for the Wild? That's something that we need to see. The other thing is with the Jets, Ondrej Pavelec has been playing pretty well over the last few weeks. He's 7-2 in his last 9 outings, a .199 goals against average. So if the Wild have in fact kind of taken a small turn for the worse and the Jets play with some desperation and lean on Pavelec some here, get a good game from him, they can definitely pull this one out.
All right, now, as for Minnesota, they're set to secure a spot in the postseason if they can clinch a playoff berth with this win tonight's game, as they have a 4-point lead atop the wildcard standings in the Western Conference. Now, they also expect their captain, Mikko Kiovu, to actually return to action after missing his first game of the season last Saturday, due to a scratched cornea. Now, considering that Winnipeg won the last meeting between these two teams, do you think that Minnesota can actually get some revenge here, Dave?
I think that they can. Desperation for Winnipeg doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win the game. We talk about this all the time. Must win does not always mean will win. And I think that's a concern when you take a look at Winnipeg. Yeah, they're coming off a win against Vancouver, but prior to that, they lost at home to the Rangers, lost at home to the Blackhawks. They've actually won just 2 of their last 5 games. I mentioned the Wild's momentum kind of changing around. Well, the Jets were a hot team in the middle of March, had won, I believe it was 4 or 5 straight, and, clearly that momentum has died down a bit. The Wild, the Wild have lost 2 straight, and it is possible that their momentum has changed. But realistically, Detroit, losing to Detroit, and I believe it was the Rangers. Rangers are fighting for the President's Trophy. Losing to those 2 teams, 2 playoff teams, not the worst thing in the world. I believe both games were 1-goal losses too. So it's entirely possible that Minnesota just lost a couple of close games, played without their captain in the latest one. If that's the case, then they should take care of business tonight. They've been the better team over the last couple of months. They've been the more consistent team in 2015. They're more balanced. They've received better goaltending. A lot of factors point into their direction. If that's the case, then they definitely should cash on the betting lines here.
All right, but on the betting lines, the Wild are a bit too steep on the price, as they're favored between -150 and -165 on the money line. The total was set to 5 goals. So might we be expecting a low-scoring affair in this spot, Dave?
Yeah, I think so. I just, I hate betting on Ondrej Pavelec in under, because he's typically an over-type goaltender. But I'm going to bank on the fact that he's been playing well recently, and I do think we will see an under. I think Devan Dubnyk has been playing well for the last couple months. Expect more of the same. And I think the fact that these 2 teams really don't want to give anything up in terms of ground in that Western Conference playoffs race, I think that results in a very tight playoff-like contest. Neither team wants to give up a point. So I wouldn't be surprised if we go to overtime in this one. As a matter of fact, 4 straight meetings, I believe it's 4 straight meetings between these teams, have gone to overtime, all 4 meetings this year. Something like that. Or maybe it is all 4 games have been decided by a goal with a bunch of them going to overtime. These teams play very tight, close games. I think we see more of that tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit overtime. And hopefully for us, nothing worse than a push. But I do think it's a low-scoring game in this one.
Yeah, it was actually 2 games that went into overtime and the 2 other ones that were decided by a one goal. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting game, Dave. As always, man, thanks for all the insights and the picks here. And we'll pick it up again soon. For everyone else, don't forget to check back with Dave tomorrow for some more sports coverage and your free picks. Till then, for SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.